The arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell, the former girlfriend, of course, of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, is dominating the front pages this morning. Sunday Times royal correspondent Roya Nikkah joins me now. Very, very interesting this, isn't it? I mean, it looked like she'd vanished into thin air, but they tracked her down.
Well, good morning, Lorraine. Yes, they did. And what was quite interesting coming out of yesterday's press conference from the FBI in New York was that it sounds very much like actually they've known really ever since last year where she's been. They've been tracking her movements, which begs the question again. There was talk of her possibly being a cooperator with the FBI yesterday. Whether there have actually been more discussions behind the scene with Ghislaine Maxwell between the FBI than we know. So there'll be a lot of people, including the Duke of York, who I think today will be feeling quite nervous about what Ghislaine Maxwell will or will not tell the FBI. Of course, important to stress that Ghislaine Maxwell and the Duke of York have always insisted that they've never done anything wrong and deny all the allegations against them.
Indeed, extremely serious allegations. And of course, we don't know what she's going to say. She could sing like a canary. Nobody really knows. She could have video evidence. She could have photos. She could have all sorts of things. We just don't know at this stage. But as you said, really, really worrying. Very, very difficult. And the Sun headline, I bet you're sweating now, Andy. Bit cheeky, bit naughty. But actually, he must be worried.
I think, you know, we've discussed this quite a lot in the last few weeks, haven't we? This story just is not going away for Prince Andrew. And I think, you know, a lot of associates of Jeffrey Epstein, among them the Duke of York, will have been very worried about when the FBI would finally get hold of Ghislaine, because as you say, she has very little to lose now. She has been arrested and now charged by the FBI. So one might imagine her best hopes are of cutting some sort of deal of cooperation with the FBI in order to potentially limit a sentence if she's found guilty of any of those allegations, which of course she denies. So it's in her interest, I suppose, now to tell the FBI what she knows. And there's no doubt, you know, the Duke of York in that interview with Newsnight last year confirmed that he was a close friend of Ghislaine Maxwell's, that she continued to be a close friend of his. He saw her at Buckingham Palace just last year. So she will have potentially a lot of information about his association with Jeffrey Epstein. You know, we know that the Duke of York was at several of Jeffrey Epstein's properties over the years. I think this will be a worrying time, not only for Prince Andrew, but it is going to be quite stressful probably for the rest of the royal family and the Queen looking at these front pages again today.
And there is that photograph that we're seeing now, and there she is in the background smiling. And there is Prince Andrew with Virginia, who has made these accusations, which again we have to say, and of course we always do, that he has strenuously denied. The thing is, you know, Prince Andrew is saying that he's kind of bewildered because he says he's offered to give evidence. The FBI says he hasn't. It really is time now for all of that to stop. And I don't think he's got any choice now. I think he's got to give evidence to them. But I don't imagine it'll be over in America, probably here. But that has to happen.
Well, we learnt last month that the Department of Justice had made this request via our Home Office here to try to get assistance in helping them to question Andrew or to get some sort of statement. The key sticking point seems to be what the Department of Justice and the feds want him to do versus what he's willing to give it. You know, I've spoken to his team and they say that they're willing to cooperate, but it seems to be that I think they'd probably be, you know, based on his performance in the interview last year for Newsnight, they're probably very reluctant to let him go anywhere near an interview room. They'd rather give some sort of written witness statement. Whereas, again, what we heard Audrey Strauss, the prosecutor yesterday, say, we would love to hear Prince Andrew come in and talk to us.
Let's hear what she had to say. OK, well, we don't actually have that. But what she said was, I'm not going to comment on anyone's status in this investigation, but I will say that we would welcome Prince Andrew coming in to talk to us. We would like to have the benefit of his statement. But as we keep saying, and we've said it all along, haven't we? As you said, it's not going away. It's not going to go away. Surely, he says he's got nothing to hide. He's always maintained his innocence. If he hasn't, then I don't understand why they can't just make this happen. And he gives a statement.
I agree. And I think Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest and charges against her now may just take things forward. Let's see. I think that the stakes are much higher now. The pressure is even greater on Prince Andrew. His team may feel that even though they're nervous about him giving an interview, it may just look better to appear to cooperate, however he does that, in whatever form, whether that's a statement or an interview. Something has got to happen now. I don't think they can continue going on just batting it further down the line now that Ghislaine Maxwell is in the Fed's sights and has been arrested and charged.
Absolutely. Roya, I know you're all over this story. You've been helping us try and navigate what's going on. It changes all of the time. Thank you for the moment. I'm sure inevitably we'll be revisiting this, but thank you for now. Thank you.